Story 1. We found a lodge in the middle of a snowstorm. It had pictures of us inside. I'm not really a superstitious person. I've done my share of winter hiking in the Rockies, and I've seen some weird stuff: snow hares the size of small dogs, tree branches that look like people in the fog, but nothing like what happened last January. It was me and my best friend, Marcus. We'd gone out for what was supposed to be a simple overnight snowshoe trek to one of the public cabins. The forecast had been mild. By midday, the weather turned on us like it was personal. The wind picked up so fast it felt like someone had flipped a switch, and the snow went from a light sprinkle to a whiteout in minutes. Visibility dropped to maybe 10 feet. The trail markers were useless. Every direction looked the same. Just a wall of snow and shadowy outlines of trees. My fingers were starting to go numb, and Marcus kept mumbling about how his toes felt like glass. We were maybe an hour from deciding to dig a snow cave and hope for the best when we saw it. A building. It looked like one of those postcard-perfect ski lodges, 3 stories tall, big windows, warm light spilling out into the storm. There was even smoke coming from the chimney. "We're saved," Marcus said. He broke into a run, and I followed. When we reached the porch, I noticed something weird. There were no footprints in the snow. Not just light snow covered them. I mean, there were none. The snow was untouched, perfectly smooth, like the wind had erased every trace. The front door was unlocked. Inside, it was warm enough that my face stung from the temperature change. A fire roared in a massive stone fireplace. The place looked fully stocked: polished wooden floors, fur rugs, cozy chairs, even steaming mugs of something on a table like someone had just stepped away. We called out, but no one answered. There were no coats on the hooks by the door, no boots drying on the mat. We figured maybe it was a rental property and the guests hadn't shown up yet. Either way, it beat freezing to death. We picked a room on the second floor, 2 beds, thick blankets, the works. I remember sitting down and feeling this overwhelming exhaustion. Like I could barely keep my eyes open. Marcus was already half asleep when I said, "This is almost too good to be true." He just mumbled, "Don't jinx it." I don't know how long I was out, but sometime in the night I woke up to this faint click. Like the sound of a camera shutter. The room was dark except for a faint glow from the hallway. I thought maybe Marcus had gotten up to pee, but he was still snoring. When I sat up, I noticed something on the dresser that hadn't been there before. It was a picture frame. I got up to look at it, and my stomach dropped. It was a photo of me and Marcus. In that bed. Same clothes, same position, same blankets. My eyes were closed in the picture, but I swear I could almost see my chest rising like it had been taken seconds ago. I shook Marcus awake and showed him. He went pale, muttered nope, and we started grabbing our gear. But when we opened the door to the hallway, it wasn't a hallway anymore. It was just snow. Not a drift, not a collapsed roof. A wall of snow filling the doorway. And behind us, the fireplace had gone out. The air was freezing again. I don't remember what happened after that. The next thing I know, we're both lying in the snow, maybe 50 feet from where the lodge had been. No building, no footprints, just endless white. Our gear was half buried, and it was morning. We barely made it back to the trailhead. The search and rescue guy who met us said there hasn't been a lodge in that part of the mountains for at least 50 years. He thought we'd been hallucinating from the cold. But I still have the picture. It's on my nightstand right now. And in it, Marcus's eyes are open. Story 2. We followed a voice in the Carpathians. I think it still knows my name. I've done a lot of hiking in the Carpathians, but this was the first time I felt like the mountains wanted us gone. It was me, my cousin Andre, and his girlfriend Lydia. We were doing a 2-day trek near the Liata Range, nothing extreme, just enough to get away from Bucharest for the weekend. The weather was perfect. Clear skies, a cool breeze, the kind of day that makes you feel stupid for ever staying inside. About 3 hours in, we heard it. A voice. It was faint, but unmistakable. A woman calling for help in Romanian. Help. Please. It was coming from somewhere off the trail. We froze. This part of the mountains is remote, but accidents happen all the time. Twisted ankles, people getting lost, even bear attacks. Without really thinking, we started toward the sound. There was no path where we went, just a narrow slope down through pines and moss-covered boulders. After maybe 20 minutes, we came to a clearing. Empty. No woman, no signs of anyone at all. That's when we heard it again. Same voice, same words, but now from farther ahead. We exchanged a look. Andre shrugged and said, "She might be moving. We should keep going." So we did. But after another hour, I started noticing something weird. There was a big dead tree with a lightning scar along the trunk, split right down the middle. We passed it. Then maybe 40 minutes later, we passed it again. I told myself there could be more than one tree like that. The Carpathians are huge. Then we passed the same fallen log. Same shape, same fungi growing along the side. That's when my stomach dropped. "We've been here already," I told them. Lydia frowned. "No, we." She stopped mid-sentence and pointed ahead. The voice was calling again. This time it was louder. And it said my name. "Help. Please." I swear I have never felt cold like that. The air around us seemed heavier, and every sound, the crunch of snow, our own breathing, felt too loud. We argued about turning back, but somehow back didn't feel real anymore. Every direction looked the same, and the voice kept shifting. Sometimes ahead of us, sometimes to the left, once directly behind. When the sun started to set, panic set in. That's when we saw the lightning-scarred tree again. Only this time, there was something standing beside it. At first I thought it was Lydia, but she was right next to me, holding my arms so tightly it hurt. The figure was tall, its head tilted too far to one side, like it was trying to listen. Then it called my name again. Perfectly, in my own mother's voice. We ran. No plan, no sense of direction, just pure animal terror. I remember branches slapping my face, the taste of blood in my mouth, the sound of Lydia sobbing. And then, we were on the marked trail again. No idea how. One moment the forest felt like a maze, the next we saw the familiar red and white trail marker nailed to a tree. We didn't stop until we reached the car. None of us spoke on the drive home. It's been weeks now. And sometimes, late at night, I hear a faint voice outside my apartment window. It's always quiet enough that I can pretend I imagined it. But it always says my name. Story 3. We slept in a cabin that hasn't existed in 50 years. So my girlfriend and I were driving through the mountains last weekend, taking a scenic route that I now seriously regret. It was late, the roads were winding, and of course, our car gave out. Completely dead. No signal. No lights. Just the kind of silence that makes you suddenly aware of how far you are from anything. We debated staying in the car, but it was already freezing. That's when we spotted it. Through the trees, maybe 200 yards off the road, was a faint glow. We followed it, stumbling over roots and snow, until we reached a small clearing. There it was, a cabin. Rustic but well kept. Smoke curling from the chimney, a lantern in the window. We knocked. No one answered. But the door creaked open on its own. Inside, it was warm. A fire burned steadily in the stone fireplace. The place looked lived in, but old-fashioned, wooden furniture, shelves of yellowed books, a kettle already hanging over the fire. On the table were 2 mugs, set out neatly, as if waiting for us. We didn't question it too much. We were cold, exhausted, and honestly just relieved. We curled up under the thick wool blankets we found in the bedroom and fell asleep almost instantly. When we woke, the fire was out, but sunlight filled the room. Everything seemed normal. We left a note, felt wrong not to, thanked whoever owned it, and went back to the road to flag down help. Hours later, we finally found a ranger and a tow truck driver. We told them about the cabin, asked if they knew who owned it. They looked at each other weirdly, but agreed to check it out with us. We hiked back through the trees. Same path. Same clearing. But the clearing was empty. No cabin. No chimney. No fire pit. Just dense forest floor, undisturbed, like nothing had ever been there. The ranger swore up and down that there hasn't been a cabin in those mountains for over 50 years. Burned down after the owner died. No one rebuilt. I can still feel the warmth of that fire on my skin. I can still smell the smoke in my hair. And I don't know what's worse, that we slept in a place that no longer exists, or that someone set out 2 mugs, like they'd been waiting for us. Update: we went back to where the cabin was. I wasn't planning on going back. Honestly, I haven't slept properly since that night in the cabin. But curiosity eats at you, you know? My girlfriend begged me not to, but I had to see for myself. So last weekend, I went back alone. The clearing was exactly the same as before, dense trees, no sign of a cabin. But I noticed something different this time. The ground wasn't quite right. The snow was disturbed in a perfect rectangle, maybe 20 feet wide, like something heavy had pressed there once. I almost left right then. But that's when I saw it. On the forest floor, leaning against a mossy log, was a folded scrap of paper. Yellowed, damp from snow. My handwriting. It was the note we left in the cabin. Word for word. Thank you for the fire and blankets. We owe you one. Next to it were 2 mugs. The same chipped ceramic ones from the cabin table. Empty, but clean. Like they'd just been washed. I froze. The forest was dead silent. No birds, no wind. Just that suffocating stillness. I don't remember leaving. One second I was staring at the mugs, the next I was back at my car, shaking so hard I dropped my keys. Here's the part that's really screwing me up. When I got home, my girlfriend swore she smelled smoke on my jacket. Like I'd been standing in front of a fire. We didn't light one. I was alone. I don't know what that cabin was. I don't know if it's still out there, waiting. But someone, or something, wanted me to know we were expected. Final update, we met whoever was waiting for us in the cabin. I shouldn't have gone back again. But the mugs. The note. The way my jacket smelled like smoke even though there was no fire. I couldn't stop thinking about it. So last night, my girlfriend and I drove up there one last time. She said we should just put this behind us, but she came with me anyway. We told ourselves it was for closure. The drive was uneventful. The forest was quiet. But as soon as we stepped into that clearing, I knew something was wrong. Because the cabin was there again. Lantern in the window. Smoke rising from the chimney. Exactly as we'd first seen it. My girlfriend grabbed my arm and whispered, "Don't go in." But the door was already opening, slow, like it had been waiting for us to come back. Inside, everything was the same. Fire crackling. 2 mugs on the table. Blankets folded neatly on the bed. Only this time, someone was sitting in the chair by the fireplace. I couldn't see their face. Just a shape, tall, thin, head bowed. Hands clasped in their lap like they were praying. The firelight flickered, and for a second, I thought I saw my own reflection staring back at me from that chair. We didn't move. We didn't breathe. Then, in a voice that was almost mine, it said, "You came back. The rooms are ready." That's when we ran. I don't remember leaving the cabin. I don't remember how we got back to the car. But when I slammed the door shut, I realized I was still holding something. One of the mugs. Warm to the touch. Filled to the brim. With what, I don't know. I haven't poured it out. We left the mountains before dawn, but I swear I can see smoke rising on the horizon, no matter which direction I look. And when I close my eyes, I hear the fire crackling. I think the cabin followed us home. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe for more Rogue Nightmares videos.